Welcome, I'm Casey Caparis, President of David's House Ministries.
And I'm Greg Vandergoot, Director of Advancement here at David's House.
Thank you for joining us virtually again for our 2021 Spring Gala. Before we get started, we'd like to thank some of our sponsors.
This year we're blessed by quite a few amazing sponsors. Beist Electric, Van Dyken Mechanical, Dan Voss Construction, Ajax, and Caterberg Verhaeg. Thank you for sponsoring our gala this year. You'll notice some of the footage in this video has been pre-recorded. Some was taken from previous years since we couldn't get into the homes this year to record.
March 14th of last year was a Saturday, a day where many of us woke up and found out that executive orders had been passed in our state overnight affecting adult foster care homes. These orders were passed in order to keep residents of places like David's House safe from the new COVID virus. Our team spent that morning delivering 4 dozen donuts from our favorite donut shop, Marge's, while locking front doors, posting notices regarding the restriction of visitors, and explaining these rules to staff and residents, while calling families to explain what this all means. It's not what David's House is used to. I remember thinking that this sure seemed like a lot of work to lock up for what we hoped would really only be a couple of weeks. And now, this month, we've celebrated 1 year of that 2-week shutdown. Our Spring Gala is once again virtual instead of being together in person. Obviously, there have been strong feelings regarding this over the past year, as I'm sure you can all relate to. We have felt a loss over not seeing families visiting inside our homes. We miss gathering together for campus-wide parties, and we throw a lot of great parties here. We miss our vast community of volunteers that would visit with us, and we've learned all too well about wearing PPE and masks on a regular basis. In spite of all of our precautions, we've endured our share of COVID cases in both residents and staff. We know the routine of the health department coming out to test, and we've lost 4 David's House family members since last year, one as a result of complications brought on by COVID. Our Spring Gala is meant as a time to celebrate, and though admittedly it would be easy to dwell on all of these negatives of the past year, even my family would be quick to tell you that I've shown my share of grumpiness, as I'm someone who loves to entertain and fill my home with people. However, when I think about the community at David's House, I can actually find all the reasons that exist to offset these trials of the past year. I recently looked up the definition of the word community and read this definition: a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. See, fellowship and gathering is so important to us and the benefit of our homes being so close to each other. Though it looked different this year, we still had plenty of parties in each home. At times they were Zoom parties, and many videos were created to share with each other. Special meals were brought in for birthdays and holidays. We had multiple car parades and a Halloween costume parade and many, many window visits. When residents did become ill and had to isolate in their rooms, in every case, staff volunteered to work one-on-one with these individuals when necessary. And when staff became sick, others stepped in to fill those shifts, often working double shifts in a day. You see, the staff here share a common goal of showing God's love to all those who live here, creating a community, and remembering that we are all created in God's image. It is the cornerstone of David's House and is really our simple and easy to understand statement of our faith. One of the great family stories here of the year is of a family that was able to move their loved one in here in the midst of COVID, knowing that this was where their loved one needed to be.
Todd is my younger brother by 9 years. He's 41. He has Down syndrome, and he's nonverbal. And he is a easygoing, lovable guy. Todd has lived at David's House for just under 2 months at the time of this interview. He moved December 31st. Of 2020.
Well, he hasn't been here very long, and COVID has made things a little difficult, but I feel very confident that he's here, that even though I can't come in and out, that he is being taken care of.
Now that Todd's at David's House, I just feel a sense of peace. He was in his previous home for 18 years, So when we had the opportunity for Todd to move to David's house, Casey called me and he said, the house is under quarantine and we're ready for Todd, but I just want you to know this. We just had to take the leap of faith that quarantine in house 2 was going to be a better quality of life than where he was previous.
I picked him up one day, and I live in Caledonia, so we probably have a 25-minute ride. He laughed and giggled all the way to my house. I think he's very content. It's hard to tell, you just kind of have to read him, but I think he's very content being here.
I'm excited to be part of the David's House community. I'm excited for my family to plug in when we can. The family events, the summer concerts. I think it's going to give my family, my mom included, the opportunity to be a part of Todd's life in a way that she hasn't been able to in the last 18 years. I think that not only is Todd gonna find comfort here, I think my mom and I both are gonna find a peace and a comfort here, getting to know the staff, getting to know the other families, getting to know the residents.
I'm just excited about being able to come and go, see what needs to be done. I love to help, volunteer. I just can't wait till spring and non-COVID days.
Though we aren't together in person today, there's still much to celebrate. We're blessed with some of the hardest working staff and the most amazing residents that call this place home. We have had opportunity to welcome in several new family members over the past few months who have been looking for a home just like David's house. These families have been waiting to find a faith-based community to join like us. Recently, we've also been able to loosen up our restrictions and have been able to allow some friends and family to visit under the right conditions. It has been a joy to see family within our homes again. In fact, just this week, one family member was able to share that after their first visit inside in a year, how comforted they were to walk into their son's room and feel like a year hadn't even gone by. Knowing the care their son had been receiving brought them great, great comfort. And another family member, who hasn't been able to visit inside yet, has noticed how her daughter has grown in her vocabulary and use of words in the past year under the care of staff, and how awesome it is to hear this when she calls home. And due to the continued generosity of many of you throughout this past year, we are excited to officially announce that we are beginning construction of our next 6-bed home. This has been a long time in coming, but we are now financially able to move this forward successfully. And we've already been able to confirm the 6 women who will be moving into this home, and we look forward to introducing them to the rest of the family early this summer. We do still have a goal of raising another $200,000 for this home, but we have stepped out in faith that our community will provide. We know we will continue to face some challenges in the year ahead, and we know this virus isn't going to magically disappear, but we are so grateful for where David's house is today. We remain a strong community of faith and love, and are blessed to also continue to grow to serve more of God's people. I came across some verses in Psalm 133, which I believe truly shows the picture of the community here at David's house. It reads, "How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. It is like a precious oil poured on the head, and for there the Lord bestows his blessing, even life forevermore." So we want to thank you for your faithful support of David's house, and we look forward to seeing you in person in the near future.
I hope you've enjoyed our program so far. Just like everything else this past year, putting together this event has had its own challenges. However, we have a wonderful team here at David's House. And here's why some of our staff and residents love David's House.
I love working at David's House because of all the people I get to hang out with every day.
Because they are cool and they make me laugh.
I love
love David's house because I feel like I get as much independence as I deserve as an adult. I feel like they allow me to go wherever I want to go, whenever I want to go, without being asked.
I love David's house because it feels like family. I feel like it's my home away from home. And I feel like I never really go to work because I love my job so much.
I like the people and staff.
I love all the people, the residents, the staff, everybody. It's just such a fun and loving environment. It really doesn't even feel like a job anymore. It's just, I get so excited to go and to be there. And I just feel really blessed that I get the opportunity to be surrounded by such amazing people. It's a great place to be.
I always say the staff at DH is like the hands and feet of Jesus, because what they do for myself and some of the residents is literally what Jesus did for the disciples.
So David's house has become more of one big happy family, other than just a job just coming in, clocking in and clocking out to go home. Staff there, they've grown a bond. We laugh together, we cry together. We also, we bicker at each other, but we make it through. That's what family do. We are all there for the residents, and vice versa. The residents, they pick up very fast if we're having a bad day or off day. They care and they're concerned just as much as we do.
Before I go any further, I must thank the behind-the-scenes leader of all social media posts, pictures, and events at David's house. She probably has no idea I'm going to do this. Her name's Taylor Andrews. She's an incredible part of our team and must be an incredible person to be able to put up with Casey and I all the time. We want to thank a few other sponsors: Fyan Zylstra, Boonstra Electric and Plumbing, Osterhirt Brothers Siding, Marble Ken Company, Grand River Bank, and Mike and Amanda Wurst. As we wrap up today's unique gala, I want to reassure you that we are doing everything we can to be great stewards of the resources you are so generously sharing with us. I'm reminded of the passage in Matthew 6, 20 through 21. Store up for yourselves treasure in heaven, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Our hope is that our friends and supporters don't feel obligated to support David's house, but instead choose to be a part of our community because they feel a connection that is not just a transaction and a handshake, but a transaction that is a hug. We want to join you in loving on the ministry that is David's house. From the stories of parents and families that continue to see how their loved ones are impacted daily by our incredible staff, to the stories from our partners like Hand to Hand Ministries, where David's house residents give back to help feed kids on the weekend by packing backpacks of food. We're excited for where God is taking David's house, and we are grateful for you for your support. Here's another story from a family member whose loved one has lived at David's house for a long time.
My name is Deb, and my daughter Lizzie lives at Willow Tree. She's been here a little over 10 years. Well, Lizzie is 34 years old. She's a very happy, very loving person. She's very excitable. Lizzie has no fear. She is ready and willing to try anything. She looks forward to excitement. In looking for a place for Lizzie to live, it was most important to find a place that had the same values. David's house has Christian values, and you can see that all day long in their interaction with the residents and with each other. If Lizzie is having a rough time with something, a staff person will go with her in her room and pray with her. I have seen Lizzie mature, grow more independent over the years, and she loves living here. This is her home, her community. Sometimes she doesn't want to come home. She wants to stay here with her friends. Finding a good facility is probably the most important decision I will have to make for Elizabeth. And I feel confident that David's house is the place for her to be. David's House meets not just their physical needs, but their spiritual needs, their emotional and social needs. I know that the adult foster care business usually operates on a very tight budget. David's House would not be able to provide the care and the love for their residents without the support of the wonderful community.
As Casey mentioned earlier, soon we will be expanding our footprint to include another house, which will enable us to now serve 49 people in our homes in Wyoming, while also providing care services to 10 incredible women in 2 privately owned homes in Grand Rapids. As we continue to work towards providing these forever homes for residents, we need your help in prayer and financial support. Hopefully, as you look through the auction items, there are at least a few things that interest you. We've got a Traeger smoker, a signed basketball by Juwan Howard, head coach of the University of Michigan, quite possibly the national champions this year. If you like Notre Dame football, we've got a signed mini helmet by Coach Brian Kelly. Maybe you're looking for that special place to go out to eat. I know we have 3 really cool meal opportunities put on by wonderful supporters of David's House. There's a lot of different baskets, many different baskets to choose from. If you like golf, we've got quite a few different golf packages. And if you like art, you may have noticed right behind me some of these incredible art pictures and paintings that our wonderful residents have created. Those are also available for you to bid on. Please prayerfully consider how you can support the work of David's House. Our prayer is that in a year, we'll be able to gather together again in person, celebrate another incredible year of ministry at David's House. Thank you, and happy bidding!